say it many times. And I left that church when I was 13 and found Unitarian Fellowship just these few years ago. Enjoyed my participation there a whole lot. I'd like to come back to how you started this morning and said, where do you want to be? What would you like to be? And also ask a question. I think, for me at least, I really want to share what we have with a larger number of people. I'm proud of my church. I'm proud of our pilot program where we pay taxes. We make a payment in lieu of taxes to say how proud we are that we are, church and state is really separate. And we don't accept that our roads are paid for without our participation as a church as well as an individual. I'm proud of the voice that we bring to political issues and to moral issues in our community. And I want that to continue, I want it to grow, and I want to be a part of that. My question to you is, we have two basic services, a forum, which this is representative of, at 9 o'clock, and then at 11 o'clock, more traditional service. And there has been occasional back and forth. Frankly, I call it dynamism and not pessimism. I think we've been a dynamic church over the 15 years that I've been a member, and I've never been to a district meeting before. I don't know anything about the hierarchy. I'm learning about Unitarianism and Universalism. But I find that stretch and pull dynamic and positive. And I'm wondering if you can give me and us examples of where the forum and traditional service work successfully together to provide for the whole Unitarian Universalist community what I think we have here.
If I were to lift up, John, right? If I were to lift up an example, John, that just comes to mind as you were speaking, the congregation in Kansas City, Missouri, All Souls, has a forum every Sunday before church, and I believe that it might be true that All Souls was the original congregation of all congregations in Kansas City, because the forum is such that the mayor's annual State of the City address is given at that forum. Okay, it is a sort of it's a big deal. I was actually there that Sunday. It's pretty amazing to watch like the limos pull up and the press sit in the front row. It's like, wow, this is kind of cool. Surely we have congregations that have, well-established forums that have gone on for years and years that provide enlightenment, and there are congregations like All Souls where some folks will come just for the forum who really aren't members of the church. The forum is seen as a service to the larger community. So it's in keeping with that voice to political issues that you raised, which is we're creating space for conversation that maybe is difficult in other communities. I pulled up another example about 12 years ago or so, maybe 15, the Kalamazoo Church, People's Church in Kalamazoo, Michigan, actually did a forum. There was a great deal of contention in the city about health care and services for women and children, particularly family planning and abortion. And the church just said, let's invite the people who want to wrangle about this to quit doing it on the TV and the radio and come and do it face to face in a series of conversations so that people could actually attend them and ask questions. Under the assumption that even, like when you watch CNN and there's two people fighting with each other, so many times they're not even in the same room, they're just on split screens. If they got in the same room together, they'd have to be nicer to each other.
nothing.
So at some basic level, they have to engage some humanity. I can be real angry at you if my view of you is this big, you know? So the notion of pulling in really disparate voices to hold a forum, and these happened over a month, 4 of them. And it was a significant asset, I think, to that community, to have a group of folks who could say, we actually want to hold a party for this conversation. I think at times that's the thing that we do best, is actually say, we want to create a space for a civil discourse that hasn't appeared anyplace else. So there are lots and lots of examples of times that you have a congregation that has a forum, whether it's every Sunday or once a month or a special occasion kind of thing, that is held in high regard by the larger community. I think if that's the focus of you building that kind of thing, it can be very successful. Is that?
Well, we don't consider our forum to be directed toward any particular momentary need. We consider our forum to be a part and parcel of our worship. And it has developed over the last 15 years as an integral part of how we come together and worship and feel a part of this community.
So more like what they do in Kansas City, where it's an every Sunday thing.
Yes.
I think many of our congregations have a